Berenstain Bears and the Slumber Party by Jan and Stan Berenstain. Sometimes little bears go good behavior ends when they pack their pajamas and stay over with friends. One of the most interesting things about the telephone is that when it rings, you don't know who's calling until you answer it. Sometimes when the phone rang in the bear's treehouse, it was for Papa. Papa Bear is a furniture maker, and customers often call about buying a table or chair. Yes, I think I can handle that. How soon will you need it? Sometimes it was Grizzly Gran calling Mama about getting together for a visit. This weekend, that will be fine, Gran. When the phone was for Brother, it was usually Cousin Fred with a question about homework. The fifth problem, I got 6 1/2. What did you get? When it was for Sister Bear, it was almost always her best friend Lizzie Bruin. And Lizzie almost always had some big idea. A tea party for their stuffed animals, going to the attic and dressing up in grown-up clothes, or organizing a sorority and using Farmer Ben's old chicken coop as a clubhouse. With permission, of course. It's okay with me, but I think I should warn you. P.U. But today, Lizzie was calling with her best idea yet. A slumber party tonight at your house? Great idea, said Sister. Just a few of my dearest friends, Lizzie continued. You, of course, Anna and Millie. And Queenie, bring your sleeping bag, and would you bring your tape player? Anna and Millie are bringing tapes, and Queenie's going to teach us the latest dance steps. I don't know, Mama Bear said later. You've never slept away from that home before. Oh, but I have, protested Sister, at Grizzly Gramps and Gran's. One time for a whole week. That's different, said Mama. Gramps and Gran are family, close family. The Bruins are neighbors, argued Sister. Close neighbors. Oh, please, Mama. It'll be such fun. I'm taking my player. Anna and Millie have great tapes, and Queenie's going to teach us the latest dance steps. Please, Mama. Oh, I suppose it's all right, sighed Mama. Come on, let's start getting you organized for the slumber party. You know, she said as she checked out Sister's sleeping bag, it still had some leaves stuck to it from a family sleep out. Sleeping over at friend's house is a kind of special privilege. And something that goes with privilege is responsibility. Do you know what those words mean? Sure, said Sister. Privilege means being allowed to do stuff, and responsibility means not messing up. Now, you remember what your mama told you about privilege and responsibility, said Papa as Sister started off for Lizzie Bruins. Oh, I will, Papa, I will, she said. But Sister wasn't very far along the road to Lizzie's before she began thinking all about the fun and excitement she was going to have at the party. It didn't take long for those thoughts to push Mama's advice about privilege and responsibility clear out of her head. Another interesting thing about telephone is that they help news travel fast, especially news about parties. Anna told her friends about the slumber party, and they told their friends. Millie did the same. Pretty soon, the cubs from all over the neighborhood were calling Lizzie and asking if they could come to the party. Sure, she said, but bring some popcorn or soda. We don't want to run out. Sure, she said, bring your popcorn and soda. We don't want to run out. Too Tall Grizzly didn't hear about the party by telephone. He heard about it when he and his gang went to show Queenie his new boombox. A slumber party, he said to his pals. Sounds like fun. How are we going to get invited to a girls' party? Asked one of them. We're not going to get invited. We're stupid, said Too Tall. We're going to crash boombox and all. Later, when the rest of Bear family had settled down for a quiet evening at home, Mama Bear sighed and said, I'm sure she'll be all right. Of course she will, said Papa Bear, looking up from a magazine. After all, Mama said, Sister is a well-behaved little cub, and Mr. and Mrs. Bruin have a lovely, well-run home and responsible, careful parents. And are responsible, careful parents. No doubt about it, said Papa, going back to his reading. There was only one problem. Mr. and Mrs. Bruin weren't home. They had gone out for the evening and left Lizzie into the care of a teenage sitter who wasn't much older than some of Lizzie's guests. The Bruins hadn't planned on a slumber party when Lizzie asked if a few friends could sleep over. And they curtly had planned on a rip-roaring, ear-splitting, popcorn-throwing, soda-squirting party for half the cubs in the neighborhood, because that's what was happening with Sister right in the thick of it. The only thing that wasn't happening at the slumber party was slumber. Lizzie's sitter tried to keep things under control, but she couldn't even make herself heard over the noise. You never heard such a commotion. The neighbors up the road had never heard such a commotion either. They called the police. The chief sent Officer Margaret to investigate. She reached the Bruins' house at the same time Mr. and Mrs. Bruin were returning home. Well, things calmed down pretty quickly. After that, the party was canceled. Parents called. Lizzie was sent to bed, and angry and disappointed Mama Bear came to take Sister home. I'm angry and disappointed, said Mama, and as they walked home through the night, after all the things I said about privilege and responsibility. Sister was grounded and sent to bed, doubly grounded, which meant she had to stay in her room for a day and in the house for a week. a pretty harsh punishment," commented Papa Bear a little later. "Not harsh at all," said Mama. "You should have seen the Bruins' living room. Popcorn stuck everywhere, soda all over the place, lamps knocked over. Absolute disgrace. And after all I said about privilege and responsibility." "Sister does have to share the blame," said Papa, "but she didn't do it all by herself. It was one of those situations where one thing leads to another and things get out of control. But you know, my dear, privilege and responsibility aren't just for cubs. They're for parents too. Cautions are strew about. Cushions are strew about," said Mama. "It's a privilege to have cubs, and with privilege goes responsibility," continued Papa. "So we're partly to blame too. When Lizzie invited Sister to the slumber party, it was our responsibility to call the Bruins if we had have found out they were going to be out for the evening, and the whole thing would have been nipped in the bud." Said Mama thoughtfully. The next morning, Sister, she canceled the grounding and took Sister over to the Bruins to clean up. Anna and Millie and Queenie had to come too. "I know what," said Lizzie, as full of ideas as ever. "Let's make this cleanup party. Let's make this a cleanup party." "Let's not," said Sister. "And if you don't mind, Liz, I don't want to hear the word party again for a long time."